Correct.
Okay. All right, Mark. Now I'm going to explain Medicare to you and how it works. We're going to start with your Part A. That's your hospitalization. Basically room and board at the hospital. Now, you don't pay for your Part A because you paid for it by all those years you worked. But you're admitted to the hospital just one day and you've started a benefit period. And Medicare works on a 90-day benefit period. But you have a deductible covering your first up to 60 days in a hospital. This year, it's $1,260.
Wow.
Now, in a bad year, Mark, with horrible timing, you could actually pay that deductible up to 5 times in 1 year. Now, if you need to stay longer or part of your benefit period are days 61 through 90. Those days this year are at $315 per day, which adds up to $9,450.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, that is where your Medicare actually ends. That's the end of your benefit period. Okay? Now, and again, a benefit period re-triggers whenever you have been discharged from the hospital or a skilled nursing facility for at least 60 days. Then you go back in, it's re-triggered, and you start all over again.
Okay.
But Medicare has allowed you an extra 60 days over the rest of your life that they will help pay for those hospital room costs. Those are called your lifetime reserve days, and as you use them, they go away and you never get them back again. All right?
Got it.
Those days, days 91 through 150, Medicare will pay all costs of your hospital room except for $630 per day, or another $37,800.
Holy cow.
And I got to tell you, Mark, as bad as all that sounds, it gets worse. Because when you lose those days, you get to pay all costs of your hospital room. Yeah, because in the Truckee Meadows, those run about $3,500 a day, not counting ICU. Now, in the hospital, Medicare doesn't cover your first 3 pints of blood. I know, sounds kind of silly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they don't. And blood, depending on the type and the availability, runs between $500 and say about $1,000 a unit. So that can be another $1,500 to $3,000. Now, skilled nursing, that's rehab. Okay, so that's not long-term care or anything of that. It is rehab. So you fall, you break your hip, and you end up with a hip replacement. Or, God forbid, you have a stroke. You're in the hospital for a few days, and now you get to go into rehab. They'll still keep a real close watch on you. Well, your first 20 days, this is kind of cool. It's a zero cost. However, your next 80 days, so days 21 through 100, those days this year are going to run you $157.50 a day, which is another $12,600 out of your pocket.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now, that's hospital. Now, Part B, that's all the other stuff. Okay, other than your room and board. That's your doctors and your tests, and if you need durable medical equipment, that's wheelchairs and oxygen and hospital beds. That's, it's even your ambulance, both ground and air. So it covers a lot. Now, Part B, that's the one everybody pays for. Okay?
Okay.
that and they typically withhold that right from your Social Security check. And this year it's $104.90 a month, okay? But it's still a heck of a deal because your Part B has an annual deductible. And this year, that deductible is $147.
Okay.
Once you've paid that for the year, then your Part B benefits start. Now, Medicare, Medicare is that great big 800-pound gorilla. It kind of gets to do what it wants to do. So, providers want to bill way up here. Medicare comes in and says, we don't think so. And all the rest goes away, and you deal with what Medicare says it's worth.
Okay.
And of the amount Medicare says it's worth, Medicare will pay about 80%, leaving you to pay the other 20%. So if Medicare says it's worth $100,000, you get to pay that $20,000. Okay? Now, because Medicare has lowered the cost so much, they do allow providers to collect up to an additional 15% of what Medicare says it's worth. Okay? So in this scenario, Mark, that extra 15% would be another $15,000.